Reddit asks, what's the dumbest thing a drunk friend has done? Traffic was stopped after a college basketball game, so he decided to get out of his car and chat with a cop who was there keeping an eye on the crowds leaving the arena. She arrested him for DUI. Drunk friend was relieving himself in a bush. Someone tapped him on the back. He turned round, still continuing to pee, to find himself face to face with a policeman. Poor cop had pee all down his leg, but saw the funny side. I bet each cop only makes that mistake once, lol. But every cop makes it once. It's their number one mistake. A guy I knew in college came to a Halloween party on roller skates and got absolutely plastered, and proceeded to roller skate up and down the stairs. This ended predictably to everyone but him, and he fell and got hurt. Due to the anesthetic effects of being super drunk, however, no one realized how badly he was hurt. He passed out in the living room, and proceeded to pee all over the floor in the middle of the night because he couldn't walk to the bathroom. Turns out his leg was broken in 2 places. I also just mentioned in a bad roommates thread about a girl I knew in college who stole someone's cat while drunk and hid it in our campus housing apartment. Stole someone's cat while drunk and hid it? Did the cat get returned? Any consequences? I'd be unhappy if someone stole my cat. She had the cat in our apartment until the end of the year. We didn't know it was stolen at first. She said she found it, and it was months later when we discovered that she'd found it on someone's porch. She did not take good care of the cat, so the person who watched it over the summer refused to give it back to her. We later found out she had stolen the cat from a frat house that would hotbox the poor thing, so it was kind of a frying pan/fire situation for the cat. I had a friend in high school who got naked every time he got drunk. As soon as Jim was naked, we knew the party was over. Edit, his name was actually Frank. Edit 2, I texted my old boyfriend of 35 years ago and he reminded me his nickname was Wolfie. I had a friend who would always pull out his balls when he got drunk. No dick, just balls. Sometimes he would attempt to play the piano with one testicle. It has been about 20 years since I last hung out with him socially, but did this Halloween. Sure enough, as soon as he was wasted he was necking back $1,000 bottles of wine he'd brought, which added to the weird he was all about his nuts. Still. At least he left them in his pants, but he spent the whole party chasing after me yelling tiny huge balls. I produced 2 tablespoons of semen. Every time. Above average. He also tried to convince my husband to sell me to him. Retrieved a beer koozie that fell in a porta-john. Ate food out of the trash can with the Constanza excuse that it was on the top. Same friend. Are you friends with a raccoon? My friend claims he was abducted by aliens one night on his way home from a local festival. In reality, he drank way too much Guinness, tried to ride his bicycle home up the steepest hill in town, and blacked out in the process. It was 5 years ago. We just argued about it, again, this weekend. Please start leaving him messages in random places from the aliens. Dumb, but funny. Had a friend with a prosthetic leg, only he never told anyone about it who didn't already know. He always waited until the party was going well into the night and everyone, including himself, was plenty drunk. He'd then produce a large knife and get everyone's attention before plunging the blade into his leg. He'd then throw his head back and scream in fake pain. Oftentimes, people would scream in terror and go running out the front door. Everyone who knew him and were familiar with his antics, would merely roll their eyes and ignore him. It was a funny prank, but a dumb one because sometimes the cops were called and an ambulance would show up. Cops and paramedics were never amused. And that's why you always leave a note. One of my favorite drunk memories was when I was probably 17 and we were drinking in a friend's basement, and as everyone was going to bed one of the people there kept complaining about how uncomfortable their blanket was. In the morning we discovered he had been using one of those big rubber-bottomed rugs, like the kind you would put in a laundry room or something. He was also literally feet from a stack of blankets. Very similar story with a friend, except their blanket was a poster board. Edit, today I learned, drunk people are bad at identifying blankets. Same, but twister mat instead of poster board. It does not provide adequate insulation. He punched a police horse, with the cop still on it, at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. He spent some time in jail for that one. I once met a guy in jail who yelled at a police horse and was charged with startling an officer. Startling a horse in general's a bad idea. That guy got a 2-in-1. I knew a guy who got blind drunk and passed out in the top bunk of his dorm room. Then in the middle of the night, climbs down and pisses on his roommate. This happened 2 separate times. He was a freshman and didn't know his roommate very well. At freshman orientation, we had to stay the night in the dorms. I ended up sitting with a girl at breakfast who told me her roommate got up in the middle of the night and peed in the trash can. They had never met before that day. My friend, who's on one of my college's sports teams, had to throw away her equipment bag because her freshman year roommate drunkenly peed in it the night before she had to travel to a meet. I was the friend. I visited some college buddies for the weekend. After a night at the bars, we were drunkenly devouring pizza in their apartment. A Ronco commercial flashed across the TV screen, advertising the latest Ronco gadget, a food dehydrator. I picked up the phone and ordered one for everyone in the room, 8 total. I even attempted to ask the nice customer sales lady on the other end out for a date. I did not get the date, but we did get our food dehydrators, and I got a $450 bill. We've never opened them. Instead, we exchange them every Christmas. Open 1. Make beef jerky. Win. Jumped off a roof onto a trampoline. Missed the trampoline, foot went partially through the gap between the springs, broke leg just above the ankle. This happened in high school. We were roommates. The guy entered the room heavily drunk and crashed into his bed. He woke up about half an hour later, knocked at the door from the inside 3 times and after a long pause, said, "Who's there?" Legend says he's still waiting on the answer. One of the guys a group of us were with at the bar in an upscale restaurant got carried away and, in a full voice, so all could hear, said, "A round of drinks for everyone in the room is on me." Around 35 people ordered free drinks on him. The bartender put it on his tab. But when the bill eventually came, the guy had no money, no wallet. He had left it home. So the rest of us were stuck with a hefty bill because lots of people ordered the most expensive drinks available, single malt scotch, etc. If someone offers to buy you a drink, you get the same thing you're already drinking or whatever you would buy yourself normally. Buying single malt on someone's tab just to get something expensive is rude and I don't feel bad they had to pay for it. Years ago, my housemate had a friend over who got so drunk that he wandered outside, forgot which house was ours and broke into the neighbor's house. Wasn't there a case a while ago where a teenager did something similar and got shot to death by the neighbors? A foreign exchange student went to the wrong house for a party on Halloween, tried to get in and was fatally shot. An old man from India visited a local town in the US when his son and daughter-in-law had a baby. One morning he walked around the block and some paranoid idiot called the cops. They came in instead of trying to overcome the language barrier. One of them slammed him down and now he is paralyzed forever. We were out at some bars. Friend got annoyed and started to walk home, leaving his coat/hat/gloves at the bar. This wouldn't have been a problem except it was January in Minnesota and it was -10 degrees. I am shocked he didn't get frostbite. Same friend also got blasted at a wedding we were at and hopped the fence to the zoo adjacent to the park the reception was at. He did not get attacked by any animals. He has since stopped drinking. 2 other friends decided to tag team wrestle our furniture and flipped a couch with people on it. They did a leaping high five to celebrate and one of the guys landed wrong and broke his foot. This was a week before our undergrad graduation. He had to walk across the stage on crutches. Amazingly, he didn't even know it was broken until the next day. Having a broken foot didn't stop him from leaving our house to go pee on a dorm he particularly disliked. Oh, and another friend, who is Indian, once got annoyed that he couldn't get up to the bar to order and told a guy in front of him he going to declare a jihad on the guy's family if he didn't get out of the way. My friends tend to be idiots when drunk. My friend woke up one morning to the doorbell. There was a delivery guy holding a massive package. Turns out he got wasted and went mad on eBay. He took it in and opened it. It was a front bumper for a Ford Focus. He didn't have a car. He's gonna build it one piece at a time. Homecoming at my college, a cop car was driving slowly down the main street, and a drunk guy thought it would be funny if he leapt out in front of the car and slammed himself on the hood like he got run over. Got slammed on the hood again by the cop as he was being arrested. Oh, and that same weekend an acquaintance drunkenly stole plates from the dining hall, and was tackled by cops when he threw the plates at them like weaponized frisbees while he ran away. Stood on the table at Steak and Shake, loudly declaring we were all her ducklings, and the only way she would agree to leave was if we all followed Mama Duck out of the restaurant, quacking. We did. That's all for this video. You made it to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing so you know when the next videos are released. Thanks for watching, have a good one.